It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, today I'm bringing back my friends from Clover, the two Steves, Steve Reid and Steve Noyes. Folks, they're having a webinar on Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central about how to make money in the federal government space. They're going to show us how to open that door, go inside that door, and put some money in our coffers, put some profit in our coffers, especially as all dealers around the world, around the country, are hurting. So, ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, how are you doing, Steve and Steve?
Fantastic. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, you guys have really done well through this pandemic trying to help out dealers. And first of all, I want to thank you. And I'm sure a lot of my audience is thanking you as well. This is like your 5th webinar. So say, you know, kudos to Jim and the team for that. And, you know, this is an interesting webinar because as I was reading more about this, folks, Clover Imaging is the only toner remanufacturer recognized by GSA to have a federal authorization dealer program. Is that correct? So verify that for me.
That's right. So several years ago, GSA recognized the fact that there was a big problem in the imaging industry, which represents a lot of the revenue on GSA schedules with regard to black market, counterfeit products, clone compatibles coming in from China and other issues. So they turned directly to industry to help them solve this problem, to make sure that their customers were getting the best possible product and getting the expected product when they ordered from GSA Advantage, which is the largest platform that the government buys on. So they turned to the OEMs of HP, Lexmark, and Xerox. They turned to Ascendant, SP Richards, and Supplies Network, Business Solutions Association, NOPA, and they invited one toner remanufacturer to sit on that imaging industry council to discuss the issues about the problems they were having, and that was Clover Imaging Group. So out of those meetings came the Imaging Supplies Authorization Dealer Program, and that's where we're at today. So yes, Clover is the only remanufacturer, has been and remains the only remanufacturer that's able to sit on that council, be in that program right alongside the OEMs of HP, Lexmark, Xerox, and Brother.
Man, that's fantastic. So, Steve Noyes, this question is for you. You know, we all are looking for money. You know, the industry's declining a little bit here. We're having some issues with people working from home and all these things. Federal government, obviously, they probably put some people at home too. But what are we talking about? What's the potential for our dealer friends inside this space?
Well, the potential for the volume in this space for imaging supplies, both OEM and reman, across all the acquisition solutions, that's the multiple award schedule and the blanket purchase agreements and some of the others. According to GSA, the imaging supply volume for laser toner cartridges and inkjet, this is just A4, not A3 with the tubes and the bottles, is in the range of $700 to $750 million, right?
$750 million. Folks, we want our piece of the $750 million. So let me ask you another question. You know, Steve Reid, here's the deal for you. If I'm a dealer and I go into the federal space and I want to sell the toner, I want to sell my Clover toner, you know, is there any requirements for that federal space to buy remanufactured toner, or can they buy OEM, remanufactured, do whatever they want?
Well, it depends on the agency. Several agencies have requirements or guidelines to be more green and sustainable, and so that would definitely be a Clover remanufactured solution. Others have set-aside status that they're trying to fill buckets to drive business towards, for example, the AbilityOne program, which is powered by Clover, which provides jobs for the blind and handicapped. You know, so there's definitely a drive towards promoting a remanufactured solution, yes.
That's fantastic. And of course, we all know that people are conscious about the environment and all the things that go with that. So that's pretty cool. Tell me a little bit about this AbilityOne. Can you give me an update on that? Because some of our friends probably don't really know your involvement with that.
Absolutely, right? Thank you. The AbilityOne program is the largest program in the world for the employment and advancement of the blind and the severely handicapped. And Clover is very proud of our growing relationship with the AbilityOne Commission, National Industries for the Blind, Source America, Alabama Industries for the Deaf and Blind, and Tri-Industries. And through Tri-Industries and Alabama Industries for the Deaf and Blind, they have a small group of product. It's about 105 right now. It'll be 158 in January of 2021. And those AbilityOne SKUs are distributed, packaged, inventoried by the blind and the handicapped. And it helps the different agencies and bureaus and departments with their set-aside. Some have mandatory buy, others just favor the mission. And as Tri-Industries says, purchase with a purpose. to support the blind and the handicapped.
Well, that's an awesome program, and I know you guys help a lot of people through other programs that you do as well. So kudos again to Clover Imaging. You know, folks, let me ask you a question now. We got the PPE. It's the talk of the town. So I know the federal government's participating in a lot of PPE gear. Yep. So do you guys have a program around that? Are you going to talk about that on the webinar as well?
We are, Ray. Yeah, that's a real opportunity for all of our dealers. We offer the key areas such as Purex hand sanitizer, the Cleanitize wipes, 3M masks, as well as other masks. Clover manufactured face shields are among the categories that we offer. There is a TAA exception through December 31st, and AbilityOne exemption. Mm-hmm. So our Purex hand sanitizer is from Chicago. It's U.S. made. And this is a great opportunity as the agencies and the departments and the bureaus begin to open. I live in Washington, D.C., and it's been pretty quiet as the agencies have closed down. But we feel like after the election, after the vaccine, there are rules that are out there welcoming them to come back and giving them procedures to come back. And when they come back, there's going to be a real demand for hand sanitizer and masks, and we have that. So the suggestion for our dealers is to get that onto their schedule, load it, and we have the content in the SIPS 8.5, and once it's loaded onto your schedule, then you're eligible to entertain all of those bid opportunities and RFQ opportunities on eBuy. You've got to have it on your schedule in order to entertain the invitations. So yeah, we're very excited about that. It's a great opportunity, world's largest customer, and they are definitely in need and on chronic back order.
Well, so I can imagine that. So here's the question. So let's just say I'm a dealer and, you know, I'm running my business. It's in the SMB space, but, you know, I really want to participate in this federal space. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So if I reach out to Clover and the team, I'm sure that you guys have a team that's going to help me. Can you kind of just walk me through what that looks like a little bit? How do I know that if I don't want to be out there on an island, you know? I want to participate. I want to open that door to the federal government's money, get some for my coffers. You know, what are you guys going to do to help me with that real quick? Steve Reid, I'll throw that to you.
So we've got a vast amount of resources, both internally and externally. You know, Clover has worked for years with GSA, with NOPA, with other agency type companies that support the federal government, associations, I should say. And we've got a vast amount of resources and consultants that we work with. Mm-hmm. We're the only remanufacturer that I'm aware of that will help you get a GSA schedule. So if you don't have one today, Clover can help you obtain one. We can provide you with a manufacturer's letter of supply, which most of the OEMs don't offer that very freely anymore. Clover is happy to provide you with that. We've got a robust federal government program that the entire program is only about 3-4 pages long compared to some of our competitors, which have a 50+ page contract and set of requirements required to participate in their federal program. And we have the ability to authorize you to sell our product on the Business Solutions Association website, so that when a contracting officer looks to add our products to your schedule, they'll reference this list and they'll see that you're authorized. So we've got a lot of resources that can help you answer questions. And I would encourage everyone on this webinar of yours to contact us directly and set an appointment. We'll spend as much time as it takes to help you obtain a schedule and sell Clover products on that schedule.
Well, that's important. You know, and you brought up an interesting point. You know, I want to clarify something. I don't see Clover looking in the windows of the dealership or, you know, holding magnifying glass over contracts to see what customers are selling. So you just help the dealers sell to the end users. You don't really care who those end users are, and you're not going to micromanage them. Is that correct?
Right. As long as you're selling to the federal government, we welcome all acquisition solutions. So GSA is only one swim lane or channel that the government buys from. It happens to be the largest, but there's other dealers that sell in a variety of ways. Some simply through relationships. Maybe you're a veteran-owned business or a minority-owned business or a hubs-owned or woman-owned or a combination of any of those. And the government wants to buy from you. We do not require that you have a particular contract in order to sell our products or get access to our best federal pricing and rebates. We just want to help you sell to the government, period.
Well, that's a great thing. So I want to bring up one more thing, because I got to be honest. You know, I did a video this week about the overreaching OEMs. So I know that you all have customers buy lots and lots of toners, but I want to use a number of $1 million as my example. So does Clover Imaging have a dealer or a customer that buys $1 million worth of product from you?
Absolutely.
So when these OEMs come in and say, hey, buy our OEM, it's only 10% more than what Clover would sell you for, in this person's case, it'd be $100,000. Folks, why in the world are we going to pay an OEM to do business with us? I don't think you all ask customers for $100,000 to sell them the $1 million worth of toner, do you?
No, we don't put requirements and restrictions on how much is required to be in our program. You know, we have dealers that are very active with us that earn those rebates. And like you said, some manufacturers put a tolerance that they'll only allow their dealers to sell a certain percentage of their product as non-OEM, so which is Clover, right? So we want to help our dealers take advantage of every penny that you can out of that, because the margins on Clover products is going to be significantly higher than the OEM. The reliability is on par with the OEM, and the yields are oftentimes higher than OEM, but the savings to the federal customer is in the range of 30%. So it's just a win-win, and when you combine that with the environmental story, it's just, you can't lose.
Well, it's something that our dealers need to pay attention to. You know, overreaching OEMs, especially during this crisis and during this consolidation I talk about, you know, they're going to get more and more overreaching. And I think what's ironic about all of it is most of these OEMs buy remanufactured stuff for their own, you know, non-OEM toner that they have to sell. They even do it at the A3 level, otherwise Caton wouldn't be in business. But folks, here's the reality. There's a lot of money behind the door of the federal government. Join this webinar on Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central Time, so the two Steves can educate you a little bit more on how to get that money. Is there anything you want to add before we end this?
I would just reiterate that we would encourage everyone to contact us directly to set up a one-on-one meeting and let us help you. Do a deep dive into your schedule if you have one already. Let us help you get one if you don't, or understand where to go to obtain, you know, consulting information. And then that webinar, if you would go to cloverimaging.com, there's a link to register for the webinar on Wednesday, right on the homepage.
And I'll put that on this video as well. Steve, Noyes, anything?
Well, just thank you, Ray. I would just say that the federal government does have some nuances, some language, acronyms, abbreviations. We can help you through that. A difference is that the 37,1102s, the professional purchasing community for the federal government, they're not buying just to satisfy demand. They are buying to put pieces of a puzzle together, and they're looking for things like reliability, best value, savings, which we can provide 30% over the course of the year. They're looking for environmental sustainability, the reduction of their carbon footprint and the pounds of plastic removed from the landfills, and they're looking for AbilityOne. So if you're sensitive to what they're buying, how they're buying, which acquisition solution they're using, we can help navigate through that and give you a great set of resources and bench depth to help escort you through that and be very successful. So
well, I can't wait for the webinar. I'll see you guys Wednesday at 1 o'clock, because we all know this, my friends, status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.